Okay, so this is going to be a review of DMC Devil May Cry. I'm sure a lot of you have seen this part of the game before. Um, I didn't choose this on purpose or anything. Actually, I tried a couple of other recordings of this because this has been unscripted. Anyways, this part is the part where you are about to go kill the succubus or whatever. But anyway, I have to stay topical here. I have a very little time to discuss a lot of things, and the most important thing that I have to get to here is the story. This is the thing that I believe that makes this game underrated and really separates it from the other Devil May Cry games in a really positive light. This game explains why Dante is the way he is in terms of, it tells all about his mother, all about his father, what happened to them, which is basically that his father created the rise of someone called Mundus, who is the main antagonist of this game, and was the lieutenant for Mundus, but supposedly betrayed him, I guess is the way that they put it, by dating an angel, which happens to be Dante's mother. It explains how he met Virgil and why him and Virgil do not get along. Basically, in their attempts to wake up and realize the world around them is actually not the way that it seems, and that it's actually a world controlled by Mundus in which everybody is being enslaved. They spend they spend the entire game with two different beliefs, but the same general goal. What Dante wants to do is basically free the humans. Where what Virgil wants to do is take Mundus's place and control the humans, something he believes that was rightful to him because of his father. He wants to be the new power, which brings me to Dante's hair in this game. A lot of people have questioned and completely not even played the game, just totally ignored it because his hair is black. And because of that little scene where he has the white mop fall on his head to make it look like the normal Dante, and things do not end up where he was like that. He kind of just laughs it off, and yeah, haha, never. And people think that because of the younger appearance of him, that he's somehow more douchey than he was before. But the thing is, Dante's always been kind of a dickhead of a character. Okay, this stuff aside, I would like to not spend too much time on the story, but the story is the strength of this game. It's what saves it, and in my opinion, makes it better than the majority of spectacle fighters out there. In fact, I would say makes it one of the better DMC games. In fact, it's probably my favorite of the DMC games because it actually gives me a reason to be invested. But that is a highly personalized form of opinion. A lot of people hate this game. And I can understand why, and I'll get into it right now. The biggest problem with this game is its combat system. Yeah, it probably sounds like, oh yeah, why would that be a problem? It's a spectacle fighter. How can a spectacle fighter's combat not turn out well and the game still be good? Well, you see, it's only bad when it's compared to the rest of the Devil May Cry series. It has a lot to live up to. Devil May Cry is known as being one of the hardest spectacle fighters out there. The thing that this game lacks is that challenge. In fact, this game lacks any challenge, as honestly as I could possibly be about it. Basically, your attacks, and this is connected to the story, are a very generic light, heavy, and normal. There are some enemies that require being hit by the heavy attacks, like this one here, and some that are required to be hit by normal attacks. Each form, the light and heavy, I'm not sure what the normal thing. I think Rebellion has a replacement as well, which is the normal sword. But they each have replacements. I'm using the later versions for the majority of this little thing here, in the sense of the fists that you earn later in the game and the shurikens. But early in the game, you get an angel scythe and a demon axe. The angel scythe is the obviously light blow weapon, which is connected to Dante's mother. It's a power supposedly handed down from that end of that family. Whereas the demon weapons, the demon scythe specifically, is directly handed down from the father in the second level based on the portraits and the memories that you get back in that point. Because in the beginning of this game, both Dante and Nero are basically treated as human. They are hidden amongst the humans in order to eventually get revenge on Mundus. So there is a story explanation for why the combat is so generic. But, that being said, as generic as it is, the combat is solid. It works, it feels responsive, it feels quick, it feels like Devil May Cry, but there's a problem. It's very easy to rack up style points in this game. Something that was supposed to be kind of the challenge point, the obsessive OCD, I must get better at this sort of thing, that Devil May Cry always had it going for it. But as somebody who's always been bad at Devil May Cry games, and the older games struggled to get B combinations, I've gotten very, very easy, S and SS's from playing this game. Even at harder difficulties, I'm on Devil Hunter right now, which is the equivalent of hard mode. It does not pose a threat the majority of the time. I would say I spend most of my time in this game wishing that I was more challenged. I'd say that's fair. But that actually does not take away from my opinion that the game's combat is solid overall. It is functional, does what it's supposed to do, and I actually don't have that much of a problem with it. So, now we get down to the presentation. Hopefully I am very, very quick about this. Sound assets, awesome. Everything is suitable. There's basically a rock music type of feel to the majority of the game. When you hear enemies say something or do something, there's levity to them. When you see a new enemy coming along, and I really forget where I'm supposed to go in this part, when you see a new enemy coming along, the music changes appropriately, the, character reactions change appropriately, the characters feel genuine, and it gives you the sense of a very action-y game. But I would almost say that this game is kind of a power trip. The majority of it just makes you feel like you are an unstoppable badass who has zero chance of losing, which, honestly, I would hope would be the exact opposite feel that this game would give you. With the whole, oh, you don't have your white hair and powers yet, you don't have experience yet, you're still basically human early on in the game. With that whole story front going on, you would really hope that this would be the hardest game of all of them. Thankfully, there is enough difficulty options with the game, even one where if you take one hit, you die, but the enemies have full health, and it's still on, hard, which is this. There is because of that, some degree of fair challenge. In fact, I would say that hardcore Devil May Cry fans could get a lot out of the later modes. Too bad that they actually have to be unlocked, so that by the time that you're doing this, by the time you're playing on a harder difficulty than Devil Hunter, you're basically you already got the best part of this game. You already got to deal with the best and worst of the game, and it's too late. I mean, it's not going to change the hardcore fans that just wanted to come to this for a challenge's, perspective on the game that it's just too easy. By the time that you have the option to do anything else, it is over. And me, as somebody who actually stayed away from this game for months, yeah, I'm not getting the huge style combos or whatever, but I'm kind of walking through this game. It's sad. But yeah, sound presentation, great. I got very distracted. Sound presentation, great. Visual presentation is good, but the environments get very samey after a while. And unfortunately, considering the fact that you're spending the majority of the time that you play this game in what is the equivalent to limbo. As a matter of fact, that's actually what I think they call it. Since you're spending the majority of your time in limbo in this game, you're not really seeing a lot of the human interaction, a lot of what the general populace would think of what you're doing, unless you're in a cutscene. Granted, the cutscenes are great, and the way the demons get away with the things they're doing is they use the media as a cover story. They make themselves look like the good guys and what you're doing look bad. And because of this weird drink thing that everybody's on about, which you're supposed to take care of in this level, it kind of makes people oblivious to what's really going on. It keeps them dumb, it keeps them out of the loop, and it prevents them from asking questions. I would say, all in all, this game is definitely worth your time if you love spectacle fighters, but maybe not Devil May Cry specifically. And you definitely feel that spectacle fighters still need to have some form of story. If you're one of those people who needs a story in order to get into a game, you will have a lot that you can gain from this game that you would not be able to get from a typical spectacle fighter. If you're a Devil May Cry fan, specifically, I don't know. I mean, you could enjoy this game. I was not a huge fan of Devil May Cry before this, and you're supposed to dodge those with rolls. I know, I'm stupid. But, I played other Devil May Cry games before this and couldn't really enjoy them. But, I got into this one, which is good, because it takes place in the earliest part of the Devil May Cry timeline, and it could eventually get you invested in this game. Oh, and I don't know if I talked about them or not. I talked about them in previous attempts of this review, but the whip for the angel pulls you, closer to a target, whereas the whip of the demon pulls your target closer to you. There are 3 guns that I have. I don't know if there are more. They're ebony and ivory, which can also be charged. Kind of have a cool little effect going on there. There's your shotty, and there's a flare gun of sort. But, there is one other thing in this game. One thing that I have not mentioned from a gameplay perspective that I intended to save for last, because it's not going to show up in a relevant manner anytime soon in the gameplay.